It's been 7 months and a half since I started traveling, so I thought I would revisit some points that I wanted to think about in this video. According to my travel app, I've been traveling for 225 days since day one, and I've driven 31,000 kilometers, and I've been to 12 different countries. So distance-wise, every day I was moving about 140 kilometers. And in the order of time, the 12 countries were US, Canada, Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru. Of course, money is not the point of the travel, but for those who are interested in a similar type of traveling, I've been spending about $100 a day. And so far, fortunately, I haven't had any accident with another human being or another car, but I did hit 2 animals so far. The first one was a cow, the second one was a goat. The first accident happened about 5 hours north of Medellin, Colombia, and I was driving on a highway, and there was a group of cows just waiting to cross the highway from one side, and among them one cow jumped into the highway, and I steered my car out of that place, but the cow, surprised, followed my direction, and I had to hit it at some point, although the speed was much more reduced. I had some damage on the external part of my car. The windshield was shattered, and the right side mirror and the housing, they were all shattered as well. The cow was alive and there was no blood. I think the cow is still doing okay. I think though the cow might have some fractures in one of the legs. And after the accident, there was some headache because I need to report it to the local police and also need to reach an agreement with the owner of the cow. The condition of the agreement was that the owner of the cow was to contribute to the reparation of my car 100%, but in the end that never happened. Anyways, the car is all restored and all the other headache was gone, so I'm fine. About the goat, that actually happened about 4 days ago in the northern Peru. It was kind of a similar fashion. I saw a group of goats coming out, crossing the highway from the right side, so I stayed away from them, but on the left side there was an individual goat who was coming out from the left side, so I had no other way but to hug with a goat, and the speed was pretty much reduced, so it was a very soft clash. The goat was okay and my car was totally fine. I couldn't tell whether there was an accident with the goat at all, so I think that was luck. I want to start off by talking about how I've been feeling these days. I remember talking about this 2 months after I started my travel, and interestingly, my whole emotional profile is very similar to that time. There are a couple of things that I almost every day remind myself, and those are the things that I'm grateful for. So they are, first, I'm grateful that I'm still alive and healthy, and I'm also grateful that I haven't hurt anyone, and my travel is still ongoing without any major change in its plan. And I'm also grateful that I'm the sole owner of my entire time today. So apart from this couple of things that I'm grateful for, there are other questions that I get asked from people from time to time. So, do I miss my home country? I do, but I miss my family and the food, but not the place itself too much. And do I miss living in the US where I had spent the last 6 years? I do miss the place, but weather there is much worse than the weather here, so I'm not really excited about going back and live. Do I miss having a fixed place to stay the night every day instead of having to change my bed every night? I do, but I'm still largely driven by curiosity, so I prefer traveling at the moment. Do I miss having close friends around me, say in the same town? I do, but I think it's more about your willingness to communicate with your friends rather than the physical proximity from one another. So with my close friends, I stay in contact with them via Skype usually. And I also read about this long-term traveler's insensibility phenomenon years ago. It is about this idea that when you travel for a long term, because you're constantly exposed to beautiful churches and nice beaches and scenic mountains and valleys, the next time you visit a place of similar nature, then you think in your head that, oh, this place looks like such and such places I visited before, and those places were better in such and such aspects. So you're not too excited anymore. And I realized that similar things were happening to me now that I've been traveling for more than 7 months. So what traveling means to me and the nature of my travel has to evolve, and I think that it has been evolving inside of me. So it's something interesting to think about. In order to answer this question, I need to remind myself why I started this travel in the first place, because trust me, I don't remind myself the purpose of this travel every day. I cannot, because I have lots of things to address. So the so-called travel logistical issues every day. So for example, where I sleep and what to eat and where to visit and which road to take and what are the conditions of the road that I'm going to take. All the things happen every day, so they take a big part of my brain energy. Anyways, there were several different motivations for this travel, and I would say the most important one was to help broaden my perspectives on how our life works, or to put it less romantically, I wanted to gain more data points, and with those data points I was hoping to be able to make more informed decisions for the rest of my life. So the assumption here is that I have been raised and educated and socialized in some specific types of environments. So the types of values that I have so far concluded as important or crucial may not be as so in different contexts where the conditions are different. So what I'm trying to do here is to learn about other ways of living and the underlying conditions that led to those conclusions, so that after this whole experience, I know I'm aware of the conditions and the values that I prefer and have the courage to choose them as my priorities. I know that all sounded very abstract, so let me take an example. In my home country, people put a high value on a person's level of education. So if there's a guy who pursues an advanced degree, it may be easier for him to justify the level of effort that he's putting into getting the degree, even when he's not really interested in doing so, because the kind of reaction he gets from the society is favorable, and that helps him to justify within himself what he's doing. So in a way, I think a particular set of values that a specific society cares about can blind an individual preference structure. But if he experiences another society where the value of an advanced degree is not as high, then he can ask himself about what an advanced degree means to him more in an honest way. And if he ends up concluding that the advanced degree doesn't matter to him as much, now he probably has the courage to do so, because he now knows, he now remembers the people that he interacted with who are living happily even without the degree, or even without thinking about whether they needed the degree in the first place. I hope the example was helpful. So going back to my previous point, what I'm trying to get out of this travel experience is to learn about different settings and different conditions and the types of values that people care about in different settings, so that at the end I am more aware of what I prefer, the values, and also get enough courage to follow those values. But to add a comment, there's something that I don't like about this question itself. So for me to be able to learn new perspectives, I think I need to erase myself and let go of my old frames of thinking and processing information. When I am too much conscious of the purpose and thinking about how much I've achieved so far, I think this is too much holding on to the old ways of thinking. So I just try to be in the space, in the place, and not to think too much. But I've also realized that that's really hard. And there are a couple minor observations I want to share. Trying to produce some kind of content while traveling is very challenging, and many of my friends find it very challenging to understand that this is the case. It's all because of the travelers' logistical issue that they face every day. So they have to think about where to go and what to do and where not to go, which area to avoid, and the occasional trips to ATMs and occasional trips to laundry places. All these things occupy a good part of any single day. Despite these logistical challenges, I have met many people so far, and I have shot many interviews with them, and I really like the setting of an interview. So compared to just casually holding a conversation, the setting of filming an interview, I think that's really conducive to talking a level deeper, and that helps me understand the person better and get to know the person better. So it has been really enjoyable. And filming an interview usually takes an hour or sometimes longer, and because I usually choose a place that's outside and that's usually beautiful, having spent that much time outside with a person that I'm interested in, and also remembering the things that we talked about outside in that beautiful place, all of the things they become like a very memorable, beautiful piece of thing to me. So that also gives a special meaning of that place or the city to me as I recall later. I was jokingly talking with a fellow traveler recently about how much we need a vacation in our vacation. And I think the idea first occurred to me about a week ago. And in my new vacation, I would wake up late and have a house and do not think about going to other places. I would just stay put inside the house and watch Netflix and repeat the same thing the next morning. And after more than 7 months of traveling, where I was having a kind of a repetitive routine every day, I think I need some type of break to recharge my traveler's energy. I think I can probably do that in Paraguay or Brazil. Thanks for listening to my thoughts. See you next time.